You're listening to She's the Business podcast. So why do some people seem to find it so easy to have a business where they're working with, what they would call their dream clients, what I might call their 5-star clients? It just seems to be happening like clockwork. They've got a great lifestyle. They're working just the hours that they want. Whereas for most others, working nights, weekends, posting content and nobody's engaging, doing cold DMs just to try to get somebody to turn into a customer. Why is it that there's so much difference between these two groups? And today I'm going to deep dive into 3 probably surprising reasons why potentially your audience may not be turning into customers, if that sounds like you. And the actual 3 things that they should be. So what these are, they're probably a bit surprising because I'm not going to be talking about your tactics. I'm not going to tell you need to post more times a day or you need to be doing reels or dance on video or any of that. So I am saying they're going to be 3 surprising things that help to turn your audience into customers that most people aren't doing. And you're going to have to stay tuned, listen to the rest of the episode to find out what they are. So let's do it. Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne. And in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration. So just before we get started, I wanted to quickly mention that you may or may not have noticed I have got a live series happening next week. It's called Master Your Marketing. And I'm going to be sharing with you my special recipe, we'll call it with 5 ingredients, on how you can get consistently booked with what I like to call your 5-star clients. Now, these are your high value, high paying, amazing fit clients, which are not just any client, not just anyone who'll pay you for your service, but the ones that you would like to be working with 90% of the time, maybe even 100% of the time, but that you would give them a 5-star for being an amazing client and they would give you a 5-star for an amazing service. So if you're interested, pop along to jessicaosborne.com/masteryourmarketing and get your name on the list so that you can get access to these 3 live masterclasses that I'm running. All different content. It's going across a week. It's going to be heaps of fun. So I can't wait to see you there. And now let's get into today's episode. Okay, so today we're talking all about how to turn your audience into customers. Now, a lot of people think that all they need to do is build an audience and have something ready to sell, have a service, and then boom, we're going to get customers because we've got something that we're selling. But it doesn't quite work like that. You see, when we're in business these days, there is an abundance of choice out there, and buyers are very, very discerning. They know that they've got options. They know they've got choice. So they're not just going along and signing up for the first thing that they see that's sort of like, yeah, that's kind of what I need, or I think I might need it. They're like, no, actually, I know that there's going to be a lot of choice. And if there's any reason why they're not sure, then they're absolutely not turning into customers because someone else is a better fit. So I wanted to bring to you today, I guess, 3 reasons why your audience may not be turning into customers and what you can do instead. So what are these 3 ways that you can be looking to turn your audience into customers? Now, the first one is about the quality of your audience. So it doesn't matter how big or small your audience is. And I've seen some people with audiences in the hundreds of thousands, 10,000, 100,000, and they're still not able to sell anything. The size of an audience does not matter. What matters is that they are exactly the right people who should need and would need and want what it is that you're offering. So the focus much more on attracting the right people into your audience, not just attracting anyone. And this is why no offense to anyone who runs the like loops and things like that on Instagram, but you're just basically buying likes, and people are entering or liking your page because they want to win a prize and enter a competition, not because they've got an interest in what it is that you're selling. So if they're the kind of people you're attracting into your audience, can you imagine how hard it might be to then turn them into prospects? Because you've got to take them on the whole journey. Like right now, they don't have a want for what it is that you're offering. They don't have a need for it. They may not even be aware of it. You're taking them on the entire journey. So that's going to take some time. And yes, some of them might end up being customers if you do a good job of it, but that is a really long, hard way to make a sale. So what we're looking for really is if you get 100% clear on exactly who it is that you are wanting to attract in, and even, what stage they're at. And I'm not talking, when I say who, I'm not talking about your standard customer avatar profiling that a lot of people do, which is, what gender, what age, where do they live, what's their lifestyle like. It's not about that. It's actually more about their desire, what it is, what transformation they're looking for, the problem that they're having, and what they're already thinking and feeling. There are going to be people who could have a need for what you offer, but could still not be the right fit for you. So we don't want to be attracting in those ones that aren't the right fit, because they're not going to buy no matter what. We want to be attracting the ones that are the right fit. So the more clear and specific you get, the better quality audience you get. And you can be very profitable with a very small audience if you've got the right people in there. There's no point thinking you just need to get to, 5,000 or 10,000, and suddenly your business will work. Well, if it's not working at 100, then what makes you think it will work at 500 or at 1,000 or at 5,000? We need to get the elements of your actual strategy behind the scenes right, so that you've got a really good target and an offer that's aligned to them, and you've got branding messaging that helps to communicate it, a great marketing system, a great sales system. They're basically my 5 keys to your marketing recipe. I'll call it a recipe. In my Business Jam program, we call it your jam plan. So I like to call it a recipe, like you're making the perfect jam. When you've got your jam plan, you've got those 5 pieces all in sync and actually working together, then you can be selling, you can be attracting the right clients no matter how big your audience is. Even if you've got, under 100 people and they're the right people, you've probably got more than enough to get the clients that you need. So quality is so important, and it's something that people, I think, choose to ignore. I'll say choose to ignore because they're focusing on the vanity metrics instead. I need to have more. I need volume. I need, I see so-and-so influencer over there, or someone who's a big name and they've got thousands of followers. So that must be what I need to have as well to be successful, right? But have you ever thought that, they may have also bought into the vanity metric? They may have purchased followers in the past from bots. They might have done all sorts of things. That doesn't mean all those people are buyers. So, could you think of another person that maybe doesn't have a lot of followers, but does have a really profitable and successful business? Because it's not one of the factors that make you either successful or not successful. It's actually about the quality, not the quantity. So that's kind of point number 1. The next one, which could be a little bit interesting. So we're talking about how you're turning your audience into customers. Well, it's not about how often you post or, are you doing a great reel? Are you dancing? All of these things. It's much, much more about your messaging. And messaging is not the same as copywriting. So this is a really important distinction to make, because messaging, when you're communicating with your audience at any time, whether it's through email, whether it's through social media, whether it's you speaking live on stage or live online through or even on a podcast, coming here, messaging is not the same as good copy. So you might, or you could have, really well-written copy. Maybe you've hired a copywriter and they've written some stuff that just sounds beautiful. However, it's not going to turn someone into a customer unless it's messaging. And messaging, the difference, like the three things that make up messaging, which makes it different to copywriting, is that it has value. So it's providing value to the person. It's kind of helping them think. It's helping them change perspective. It's helping them become aware of something. It's helping them learn. That's what I mean by value. Secondly, is that it's creating demand for what it is that you're offering. That is really important, because I see a lot of content out there that is not creating demand. It's just creating engagement, or likes. And while those might seem great, if all you're looking at is your social media stats, if that's not turning into sales, then, it's not creating demand, therefore it's not messaging. And the third part of messaging is that it addresses objections that people have to buying from you. So there's, we're talking a much deeper level of communication than what the majority of businesses out there are doing right now in their content. Most people are up in sort of the surface level. They're doing lots of how-tos and, or sharing bits about themselves and all of that fun stuff. Giving tips or, memes and things like that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And it might be nice to add a bit of that into your strategy, into your content mix. But if none of your content has messaging in it, then there's a key reason why people aren't migrating from where it is that you're speaking to them across to becoming a customer or a client. So messaging, super important to understand that distinction and to start working on it. So really be thinking, well, how is this creating demand? And it's not just telling someone that you've got something to sell. That's not creating demand. Creating demand is creating desire for it. And so, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's much more about understanding your human, where they are right now, what they're thinking right now, and then speaking to them on that level at that place where they are, so that you can help them see what it is that's stopping them from moving forward, help them to become motivated to move, feel like it's possible for them, feel like this is something that they do actually want, because they might already want it, but they might be thinking, oh, yeah, that would be nice, but it's not possible for me. Well, if there's any sort of but coming out in what they're saying, you might even be thinking, but right now listening to me, you might be thinking, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, but I don't agree, or I've heard something else before, or I follow a social media influencer who just says that you need to post reels 5 times a day and you'll get customers. So you might be thinking that right now, might be sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm not sure it makes sense. And we are, as humans, constantly tuned into this. We've got a really big, I'll call it the butt reflex. We've got a really big butt reflex because we're always, as at our innermost level, at the primitive level in our brains, we're doing this subconsciously all the time. We're designed to protect ourselves from danger and risk. So whenever we're hearing something new that might be different to what we've heard before, we have our radar on big time. Like we have it on. We're like thinking, well, can that be true? Is that right? I'm not sure. I haven't heard this before. We've got a lot of that happening, whether you're consciously doing it or subconsciously. That's happening. And It's happening with every single one of your audience as well. So imagine if you're sitting there and the content you're doing is saying, here are 5 tips on how you can do SEO on your website. But if that person doesn't believe that they really need SEO, do you think that they're going to be interested in those 5 tips? Or is that even creating demand for buying your service? Well, it's not if they don't believe that it's something that is important or that they need. So it's not about actually giving them the content. We need to dial it right back and bring them on the journey so that they actually understand why it's important and how it's relevant to them, what is possible for them, and help them to see what is the reason why they should even be listening in the first place. When we can do that, that's when we've got messaging, and we can address the objections that they might be having, where they might be thinking, yeah, I've tried that once before and it didn't work. Maybe I got someone to do SEO on my website when it was built and it didn't do anything. So they've then cancelled that out and thinking, well, it's no use. It doesn't work for me. This is a big one with Facebook ads. I think people try Facebook ads once and then go, oh, it was a disaster, didn't work, therefore it's not for me. Whereas what they might not realize is that they might have not had a particularly good strategy in place for their ads. They might have been trying to do the whole customer journey in just one ad, go from cold audience right through to sale, and wonder why it didn't work. And unless you've learnt a little bit more about that, then of course you're going to think that. Of course, that would be totally natural. It would be normal to think that when you realize that it's unlikely someone buys from the very first touch point, and that normally you need to create a bit of rapport with them. They need to come along on the journey. And yes, you need to address objections. You need to create demand. And your one ad isn't doing that. You need to think of it as the first step in the journey and get them across to your website. That's the next step. So breaking down that content. When you understand that, then suddenly it makes much more sense about why the ad isn't an all-in-one solution. So bringing this back to my point about this was that if they're sitting there listening to you or reading what you're saying and they've got some chatter in their head saying, but yeah, okay, I can hear what you're saying, but that doesn't relate to me, or that won't work for me because, or I don't believe that because I've heard something else differently. If you're not addressing all of these things, then they're not taking the next step. And this is what messaging does that copywriting doesn't. The third key to turning your audience into customers is, and this might surprise you, but are you making it easy for them to take that next step? Is it clear? And is it really simple? Can they do it right now? Or how many steps and hoops do they need to jump through in order to buy? Now, I have a story to tell because this happened recently where I was contacted by someone, and I don't normally respond to people who cold DM me, but in this particular case, it was someone I'd heard of before. And, I thought I actually was interested. I did have something in that I needed that they were offering. And, we had a bit of a chat, and then the next step was, okay, let's have a chat. Let's get on a call and discuss this and see whether there's a good fit for us to work together. But the next thing that they did was, oh, well, can you let me know when you're available and we'll find a time? And the whole thing kind of just, what will we call it? It breaks. It came to a halt right then and there because suddenly it got hard for me. I was, at the time I had my daughter was in kindy. I had her home a fair bit. I've got my other son at school. I literally was working only, I don't know, probably 20 hours a week, if that. And I was often on my phone. So I might have even been on the floor in my daughter's room trying to get her to sleep while I was doing some messaging and what have you. And this person, what they were asking might have sounded simple. Oh, let me know when you're available. Well, it's like, well, I don't know that off the top of my head. That means I'm going to have to go and check my calendar. And I've got to go through and look at all the times and then come back with some, which may or may not have suited them. And then we're going to have to go back and forward and find a time. And just that one simple thing stopped me from taking that next step, because when they said to me, when are you available? I didn't have my calendar in front of me. It wasn't easy for me to do that because I was off with the kids doing something, and I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm going to have to look. I'll do that later. And, later becomes never. And I still never go back to that person. So what they could have done is make it easy for me. If they'd actually just messaged me their calendar link, like Calendly, something like that, where I could go in, see the times they're available and choose one that suited me, because Calendly also shows me when I'm available. That makes it so easy. I can go straight away, pick a time that suits us both. I can book myself in to a call. I can get the automated response with the Zoom link or whatever it is that we're going to hook up with. Any information I need, it's all done. It's easy. There does not need to be this to and fro and have it buried in the inbox, stuff that's hard to find, things that you don't get back to. It was really, the sale was so close, as in I was ready to talk, and then that stopped me, and it was enough to stop me. And so you think, well, if that's happening for me, then who else is this happening for? If you're not making it easy for them to take that next step. So I'd like you to just sit and ask yourself for a minute, well, what am I asking my prospects to do in order to even have a conversation with me to find out whether they want to buy from me or not? Am I making them jump through hoops? Am I making them fill in long, arduous forms? Am I making them provide lots of information even before we've had a sale? What is it that's actually necessary for that next step, and how can I make it super, super easy? Because if you're not making it easy this day and age, we're not doing it. We've got used to having stuff on tap, on demand, things to be easy. And whenever something's a little bit hard, we tend to give up. And that's just human nature. I'm not saying that's good or bad. It just is. It is what it is. It's what we've got used to over the last 10, 15 years or so. As more and more technologies come in to make our lives easier and easier, we've actually got way less tolerance for things that are hard. And you might not think that filling in a form is hard, but every single question that you add to a form is making it a little percentage less likely someone will complete that form. So if that form is required to be completed before they even book in a call, can you imagine how many less calls you're getting than if you just let them book in the time first and then send them the link for the form that you might need? And really challenge yourself on it. Well, what do you actually need versus what is it that you'd like? I've got a massive pet peeve. Sorry, while I'm talking about this, just one more thing, but it can help you so much to get a conversion. The pet peeve is when people already know my details and they're asking for it again, where it's unnecessary. And governments are chronic for this. Schools, governments, I think you'll all agree, every time you fill in the form, you're filling in the same details that they've already got in the system. Like, why am I filling this in when you've got it in front of you? Just let me fill in the things that you don't have and let's be done with it. That is so inefficient, so uncustomer friendly, terrible experience. And all of these things can stop someone in their tracks. You're basically putting up a great big barrier in your customer journey, getting towards a sale. Anytime you're making someone do something they don't really need to do, that's a bit harder than what they need, that isn't easy, simple, and streamlined. So they were my 3 big and maybe a little bit surprising ways that you turn your audience into customers. The 3 things that might be stopping you right now from getting customers. Now, I am going to say, because I think this is even more important, is that when we're looking at number 1, the quality and who we really want, it's not just about anyone who might want to buy our service. There'll be plenty of people who could have a need of what you offer, but they're not going to be a great fit with you. So what we're looking to do to have a business that not only you get clients, but you get high paying, high value, really great fit clients, is getting these pieces of your marketing strategy into place and aligned and connected. So you've got a really clear target and a speciality of what it is that you offer. so that you're attracting in the right people who will really value you for what you do and who will be more than willing to pay for it as well. Those are the clients that will allow you to have a business where you can work 20 hours a week or within school hours and be earning as much or more than you could be earning in a full-time work if that full-time person is competing on price, is treating themselves like a commodity, is servicing the market, maybe relying on referrals for business where you're not getting much of a choice of who you get. That is a huge difference. It's really subtle and most people aren't focused on it. They're thinking, I just need more clients. More clients equals more money. Well, it doesn't if those clients are low paid, high maintenance, low paid clients. That means more of your time for less money. What we want to be doing is more money with less of your time to deliver it. So the more that we can have things automated, be streamlined, but also be streamlined in who we're attracting and our offering so that, you're really leveraging your top value and doing something once that you can rinse and repeat so that you can get that absolute cream of the crop, those best clients. You can get them time and time again consistently and have consistent bookings so that, as much as you want to be working, your schedule is booked and you've got control over it. You can say, well, I don't need to work more hours because I'm earning way more than I thought I would, even in 20 hours a week. And that's not a pipe dream. That's actually just called strategy. That's your business strategy. And if you design your business to deliver that, then that's what it will deliver. If you've gone out in business and all you're thinking about is, well, how can I offer a service that someone will pay for, then you're down on the bottom feeding. You're scraping off the bottom of the barrel because you're just trying to find something that people want to buy. Have you considered that when you're letting other people tell you what they want, then you're putting together pricing for them? How much more time and effort of yours is involved in that transaction compared to when you know what it is that you're offering that's of high value and you can put out to them how you can help them with that outcome, how you can deliver that outcome for them. This is what it takes. You've already got it done. You've already got it mapped out. It's already priced, and it's just a simple conversation. And a lot of that can even be automated further. Without taking away that personal touch, without taking away the relationship building, there's so much time that can be gained back for service providers if you design your business to be really well streamlined and efficient in this way. So I've just deep dived big time on this topic, and I'm going to be going even deeper into way more detail next week. So it'll be Monday here in Australia. It'll be Sunday night if you're in the US, Monday morning for Australia. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday for you people in the US or the UK. I am going to be doing 3 short masterclasses basically over the week. I'm calling it Master Your Marketing. It's a 3-part series. So each of those will be different content. We'll be talking about these different keys in that recipe for a great strategy for a part-time school hours, we'll call it, business, because that's ideally what we all want, right? We want to be really profitable and successful and only be working the hours we want to work. And for most of us women and mums, that would be school hours, so that we have the time outside of that to spend on ourselves, our kids, going to the gym, doing all the things that are important to us. So I'm doing these sessions live, and I'd love you to come along and join me live. If you come and join the live sessions, there is going to be so much fun opportunity to ask questions. I can give you direct feedback on anything that you want to ask, something that you might be stuck on, or maybe have some doubts about. And there's a lot of that. So I invite you to come and join me, because I'd love to connect with you and be able to give you some response right then and there on the day. If you can't make the live sessions, then there are replays, But either way, the best thing to do is to register so that you're on the list, so you get access to the lives. If you can fit them in, great. If you can't, you'll get the links for the replays, and you can catch up in between. So I've spread them out over the week so that you can, fit them into your busy schedule as well. Now, you can go to jessicaosborne.com/masteryourmarketing and pop your name down. You'll get on the list. I'm opening up a private, like a pop-up Facebook group tomorrow, just so that we can connect and get to know each other a little bit. It gives you another way to be able to reach out with questions. If you did catch it on the replay and wanted to ask a question, you'll be able to do that inside our pop-up Facebook group. And I will be in there. I'll be in there for the week, really enjoying hanging out with you. So that's it. Come and join me, Master Your Marketing. You will find the link in the show notes here. You will also find it my website if you come along to my website. And if you're listening and we're after the 20th of February, then there's still time. You can still come and register. You can catch up those sessions. The replays will be there for the week, and you'll be able to catch up and get involved either way. So I invite you to come along and join me for that. It's going to be an absolute blast. And last time I did a training, not the same. This one's actually a bit different. We're really honing in on, the 5-star clients and what they mean and how you can position yourself to attract more of them and less of the low-paid, time-consuming, soul-sucking kind of work that you might not want to be doing more of. The last time I ran this training, some of the comments from the people, the attendees, were like, wow, like light bulbs going off. Or why hadn't I thought about this before? Things like, this is making so much sense. I'm really clear on what I need to do now. And that just lights me up so much because, by the end of the 3 sessions, the 3 masterclasses, you'll have my complete 5-part, we'll call it a blueprint, a recipe, whatever you like. It's a recipe for your strategy behind the scenes. So, and you will have identified what bit you might need to work on right now to get into alignment with the rest. I find most people have got a lot of this already in place, but it's either out of alignment, maybe they're missing one of the pieces. It's not a complete restart. We're not talking about changing your whole business. We're talking about optimizing it and connecting these pieces of strategy so that it works. And then guess what? Marketing just becomes so much easier because you don't have to be doing all the things. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to be posting all this content, which gets frustrating when nobody's connecting with it. Well, you're going to be able to post way less or as much as you want to, but you'll find that the right people are starting to engage because you've got these pieces of your strategy together, and then it's coming through in what you're presenting out to your audience. So it's taking this, turning your audience into customers. We're really going to be taking this to a whole nother level, optimizing your business so that you're doing it really, really well. It's not just a sporadic thing. We want to have consistent conversion from your audience into customers. But also, we're retaining those customers as well, which is probably something less marketers talk about. It's not all about attracting new all the time. If we're doing this right, you're going to have a really great customer base, which means that the new coming in is nice and fresh stream of new clients. That's fantastic, but that you don't need to have a big volume because you've already got a great base of existing and past clients that are still in your systems, still in your business. I'm going to share more about this with you. I won't go into it now because we've just hit on half an hour. So thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and I can't wait to see you in Master Your Marketing. So come along and join me for that. And I will talk to you soon. Bye. Join me for my free 3-part live series. It's called Master Your Marketing, and you'll discover the 5 ingredients to aligning your message and your offering around your unique value so that you're working with 5-star clients, attracting them easily, growing profits, and ultimately enjoying real flexibility in your life to spend time doing whatever matters most to you. Head over to jessicaosborne.com/masteryourmarketing to register now and make sure that you don't miss out on this live series. I'm so excited. I absolutely cannot wait to bring it to you. When I ran this last year, I had people saying comments like, wow, light bulbs are going off. I love this. And, you've given me so much to think about. So you don't want to miss this. Master Your Marketing is starting on the week of 20th of February. So mark your calendars right now and make sure you register. The place to register again is jessicaosborne.com/masteryourmarketing. And get in there and register. Even if it's already started, you can still register. You can still get access to the replays, to the workbook, and get involved in the whole series. It's happening for the whole week and it's going to be amazing. So make sure you've got it in your calendar. Mark it right now. 20th of February, that's the Sunday, so that week of is when this live series is running. And I really can't wait to get involved with you. It's going to be interactive. There'll be lots of fun. So come and join me online and let's master your marketing this year.